travel tales are often written off as urban legends, but we have all seen it on TV series such as Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula, who plays Sam, a time-traveling scientist traveling back and forward in time to put right what once went wrong, with Dean Stockwell, who plays Al, his cigar-smoking hologram assistant and friend from the future, and also in great classic movies such as Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox as the well-known Marty McFly, and his partner in time travel Christopher Lloyd, who played Dr. Emmett Doc Brown, time-traveling in their famous DeLorean. So, no matter whether you believe or not, you cannot help but be intrigued. There are skeptics who will say that the technology doesn't exist, but quite a few people have claimed strange experiences and insist otherwise. Whether they are just a little Looney Tunes or onto something big, we can't say for sure. In this episode, you will hear their eerie claims that might change everything you thought you knew about time travel. Number 1. The Old Woman from the Future. Back in 2010, director George Clark was just watching old footage of the greats. One of those greats was the film The Circus by the brilliant Charlie Chaplin, which has definitely stood the test of time. But when George took a look at it with fresh eyes, he noticed a very strange situation in the scene. Was there an old lady with a cell phone in the film, as seen here? But, obviously, that tech didn't exist at the time. Because this film was released on 6th of January 1928, some people online seem to think she is a time traveler, caught on camera. Others are unconvinced. Strange, to say the least. What do you think? Number 2. The Timeless Mystery of John Titor. John Titor is a pretty famous case of a person who insists he has time traveled. Despite the critics out there, he is not letting up on his story. What is it, exactly? Well, it's complicated. But I will explain. It all began in the late 2000s, when John wrote about his experience on an online forum, saying that he was actually sent back to the 70s to transport an IBM 5100 computer to future time. He was from 2036, John was just here now as a stop on his way home, and he wanted everyone to know. The specifications of the time machine he used were extensive, and many people believed the writing. Well, what do you think? Is it a hoax? Number 3. Greta Thunberg may just be a time traveler. Teen Greta Thunberg is a big environmental advocate in our time. She talks a lot about the future of the planet. According to Greta, we deserve a safe future. But could she actually be a person from the past? This photo certainly makes it look like she is a time traveler with a message for humanity. Look at this face and tell us you don't agree. The photo actually comes from the archives at the University of Washington in Seattle. They say it's just a Swedish girl from another era, but we are not sure if this isn't a time-traveling Swede, specifically Greta. Very interesting indeed. Number 4. These professors claim that they met Marie Antoinette. In 1901, two educated Brits named Anne Mobley and Eleanor Jourdain went on holiday to France. As many do, they visited the Palace of Versailles. When they arrived at the mini attraction called the Petit Trianon, Marie Antoinette's private building, they witnessed something odd. They saw parts of the architecture that were removed centuries ago and then claimed to see Marie herself on the grounds. They explained this was all due to time travel, but was it? Many called this a joint delusion or a misinterpretation. But despite the critics, the women published a book explaining the incident under pen names Elizabeth Morrison and Frances Lamont. It's called An Adventure. It's still available today. Number 5. Is this the best evidence of a real-life time traveler? Here, a vintage photo claims to show a crowd at the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in British Columbia. Nothing seems off at first. But online sleuths have looked a lot closer than the average Joe, and we've zoomed in to show you more. Although the picture is from 1941, the one man in the middle doesn't seem to be from that era. Could he be from a more modern time period? Somehow the time-traveling hipster here really does stand out from the prim and proper ladies and gents all around him. They have fur and overcoats, whereas he has sunglasses and a hoodie. We find this incredibly spooky. Number 6. Here is Space Barbie. She says she knows all. Social media has been fascinated by a woman that looks like a real-life Barbie. Most would say she had a lot of plastic surgery, but the woman in question, Valeria Lukyanova, says she is just of another time and another world. She explains her mission. The aim of my life is to come to this planet to help people to realize that is it necessary to move from the role of a human consumer to the role of human demigod. But whether or not Valeria is really from a different time, we are not sure. If humanity is ready for this new philosophy of being, it might be above our heads. Number 7. Father Pellegrino Anetti and the Chronovisor. Pellegrino Anetti was a Catholic priest who talked about all kinds of supernatural phenomena. But what made him stand out in the priestly crowd was his claim that time travel was already a reality. He claimed he had made a device that could let the wearer witness events from the past. He said this helped him see the crucifixion of Christ with his own eyes. Quite a claim. On his deathbed, Father Pellegrino took his claims back. Some of his colleagues say he was coerced into false confession, though. We wish we could ask, but he's dead. Number 8. The man from Tord definitely needs explaining. In 1954, the customs folks at the Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan, encountered a truly strange situation. A man trying to get through customs and security claimed to be from a nation that didn't exist at the time, Tord, but his passport said he was a citizen and it was full of legitimate-looking stamps. They thought he might mean he was from Andorra, based on a conversation with him about its location. But he got mad and insisted Tord was real. Not only that, but he said it had existed for 1,000 years. The conflict resulted in his arrest. But the next day, he was gone, with all his documents. Was he some sort of time traveler, lost in our world? Number 9. The photo that shows a future city in 2118. Online, thousands of people are getting curious about a man named Alexander Smith. He wears a suit and he has a disturbing message for all of us. Alex has just returned from a routine business trip in the year 2118 and tries to show a photo of a city from the future. He believes this will prove his claim to skeptics. But looking closely, the picture is a little blurry. So what's the deal? Does he have any useful knowledge for us? In a video with 500,000 views, he shares, "This picture was taken in the year 2118. There's a danger of artificial intelligence taking over. But the number one threat to humanity as we know it is global warming. I feel this story is a little far-fetched, but you make up your own mind." Number 10. Somehow, Vladimir Putin seems to be present in every era. Russian leader Vladimir Putin once said, "I have a private life in which I do not permit interference. It must be respected." That sounds all well and good, but a recent photo circulating online shows there may be a reason that the man is so private. Look closely and decide for yourself. Is Putin a young man in every era? Some say he must be a time traveler, because this seems impossible. We are intrigued, but we don't have evidence either way. And we suspect the Russian president will not confirm or deny the rumor. Former KGB agents don't like to do that. Number 11. The Green Children of Woolpit defy explanation. This incident takes us all the way back to the 12th century. In Woolpit, England, a young boy and girl were discovered alone. Unfortunately, they didn't speak English or any other language anyone knew. But that wasn't the oddest part of the situation. Both had green skin, locals reported. The boy died not long after his rescue. But the truth of the matter only came out years later, when the girl learned English. She claimed she actually hailed from a place called St. Martin's Land. She and her brother had wandered off while tending the family sheep and entered a cave. Then, they wound up in Woolpit, far, far away. Did they time travel, or what? Number 12. Dr. Ronald L. Mallett, he sure did the maths. Retired Professor Ronald L. Mallett has a PhD in physics from Penn State University. He spends a lot of time talking about theoretical physics, as one would expect. But he has also waded into an area that his colleagues think is a little cookie. His memoir was recently published, and the title says it all. It's Time Traveler, a scientist's personal mission to make time travel a reality. No less. Dr. Ronald says he is working on a machine to send him to the past. He wants to see his late father again, who died when he was a child. Pretty understandable. Number 13. William Stillings survived a future space mission. William Stillings is also a member of Project Pegasus. This secret government program sent humans across time to a colony on Mars, so they say. While there are more skeptics than supporters, it is odd that multiple people keep claiming this same story. The time travel and the Mars mission are consistent details. In William's case, he also says he met President Obama during the mission. Does the 44th president admit he has already been there? Maybe, maybe not. So far, Obama has only publicly claimed. Getting to Mars will require continued cooperation between government and private innovators, and we're already well on our way. Number 14. This time traveler from year 5000 has bad news. A startling new claim has appeared online. That a man who says he is a time traveler from the year 5000 and he has a picture to prove it. He also has a message for us all. I will tell you a story which will amaze you, and you will be astonished. I was standing on a huge wooden platform. Not only me, houses, buildings, of course, all made from wood, and after, I realized it was the same city, Los Angeles, but underwater. The mysterious man calls himself Edward and says he participated in a top-secret time-traveling program back in 2004. He was sent 3,000 years into the future, but he's back to tell us the truth. The world is going to get very wet. Number 15. Billy Meier has time-traveled quite a bit. If you've ever seen the art of UFOs on the X-Files posters, the man responsible for the aesthetic is none other than this guy called Billy Meier. People loved his photography, which supposedly showed aliens visiting us in small, metal flying saucers. He himself claims he has made many trips through time and space. The alien race that has been helping him do that is called the Pleiadians. If you thought it was all art, you'd be wrong. Billy believes in it. Recently, some of his original shots were sold at auction house Sotheby's. The rich like time-traveling alien photography as much as anyone else. The question is, are they authentic?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell.